Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is going to be a magnificent concert of Harlem Stride. Now, there were quite a few of you, I know, especially in an audience such as this, most of you are deeply familiar with the term and what it actually means. For those of you who aren't, it really simply is, I wouldn't use the word more evolved, the description, but it's a later form of ragtime, usually performed by people who had greater technical ability than did the people who have been composing the classic ragtime. We know of Joplin, of course, as the king of ragtime composers. He wasn't an entirely gifted pianist. And that part of that was how he ended up focusing more on composing and less on performing, to all of our great benefit. But these guys, primarily on the eastern seaboard of the United States, in the 1920s and 30s, were playing the same patterns, the boom, chick, I think you might have read in your programs, which could easily become boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, 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 chick. All sorts of syncopations were now being included in the left hand, not just in the right. Also, something you can listen to is that there's less melody going on quite often. It's not a long sweeping melody like you might find in a Joe Lamb rag or one of Joplin's rags. It's much more percussive, much more what we call riffing, where there's a rhythmic riff and also tricks. The tricks that the Harlem Stride pianists would throw at one another and include in their pieces. You'll begin to hear a few of those things repeating through some of the performances you'll be enjoying today. So I don't want to get long-winded about it, but it's a very orchestral style of playing with the same syncopations that you had in classic ragtime. Quite simply, think of Harlem Stride as ragtime on speed. And that's pretty much what you're going to be experiencing. And first we have a fellow who is not just a stride pianist, but a magnificent musician in so many different styles, joined by his cohort. Is this the Laurel and Hardy? I'm not sure what they are, except that whenever they get together, electricity reigns and good times abound. Not to mention terrific virtuosity. You are now going to listen to the magnificent music of Brian Holland and Danny Coots.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm tired now. That was a great tune called By Mir Bis Du Shane, written by Shalom Secunda back in 1932. And it makes a great stride tune. Who knew? So now that we've done that, I'm going to play a slower one, because I'm tired. We're going to do a great one. This is by the father of stride music, a gentleman named James P. Johnson. And it's one of his more beautiful pieces, I personally think, and I hope you do too. This is a great tune called The Snowy Morning Blues.
Brian Holland and Dan Coots, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So you're hearing it already. It's still ragtime, it's still syncopation. It has a bit of a looser, for lack of a better word, swing. By now, swing is in the vernacular, and it's still 2 beats sometimes, but it's approaching a 4-beat feel as well, without ever sacrificing any of that beautiful syncopation we all love about earlier ragtime. Well, this next fellow is equally at home on the stride stage, on the vocal stage, whether it's Morton, Jellerwell Morton. He does it all, and we love it every year he's here with us. Please put your hands together all the way from Chicago, Illinois, Paul Asaro.
One, two. Hello, everybody. I'd work for you, slave for you, be a beggar or a knave for you. If that ain't love, it's gonna have to do until the real thing comes along. I'd gladly move the earth for you, to prove my love, dear, and its worth to you. If that ain't love, why, it's gonna have to do until the real thing comes along. With all of these words, dear, at my command, I still can't make you understand. I'll always love you, come what may. My heart is yours, what more can I say? But I'd sigh for you, cry for you, tear the stars down from the sky for you. If that ain't love, it's gonna have to do until the real thing comes along. Here's the real thing. Here we go. With all of these words, dear, at my command, I still can't make you understand. I'll always love you, darling, come what may. My heart is yours, what more can I say? Except I cry for you, sigh for you, lay the body down and die for you. If that ain't love, skip it. It's gonna have to do until the real thing comes along, baby, until the real thing comes along. There it was up there, the real sheet music. Thanks so much. That was recorded by, of course, Fats Waller and his rhythm in the mid-30s. That's where I learned it. It's from a record. And right now I'm going to stick with Fats Waller and play one of his piano solos he recorded in 29. This is called Going About. Go About. And there it is there. I need that to get started, see? Otherwise I'm in real trouble. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Man, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. And that is a perfect, he captures Fats Waller's greatest side so beautifully. If that isn't love, skip it. One of the other ones I used to love too is when Fats would sing other people's songs. Like that one was not written by Fats, but he made it his own as soon as he started performing it. And certainly in the recording, it's a sin to tell a lie. He has this line about, I'm sure it's true, what you say, I love you. Never broken just because these stupid words were spoken. I love you and I love you. If you break my heart, I'll break your jaw and then I'll die. It's just like, whoa, crazy stuff. All right, and since we're going to stay with Fats right now, because I'm going to do one for you, so I'm going to skip introducing myself because I'm already out here. That's probably the easiest way to do it. This one was written by, thank you. This one was written by Fats for his second wife. Her name was Anita. And he wrote in 1940 for her, and this is one of the few times he wrote lyrics. He always worked with magnificent lyricists, most, memorably Andy Razaf, and with whom he wrote Honeysuckle Rose, Amos Behaven, scores of others. This one, he actually tried writing his own words for his wife. And I'm going to save you those. They're terrible. Anita, I love you. There's no one above you. Anita, repeata, I do. It's how someone who was so clever with the asides in the music could come up with such awful lyrics is beyond me. But the tune itself is absolutely brilliant. His second wife really understood him, and he loved her immensely. They even wrote a few tunes together, where she wrote the lyrics, he wrote the music. This was instrumental, though, the way I'll do it, from Fats Waller, Anita. Now, which one, though? Hang on, let's see. Thank you. It sounds the same. If I don't like it, I'll skip over the middle. Hey,
Here we go.
vocal refrain and piano, no vocal refrain. I shall refrain from the vocal refrain. This next one, I think I'll have to commiserate with one of our other performers to find out, but I think it might be the oldest one you're going to hear on the concert, as it was written in 1833. It is going to be the oldest or the second one? Mine is the oldest one? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the fellow behind all of this artwork you are seeing. Hey! Wow, thank you. That's the one I like. That was pretty short. Do it again. Start over again. Thank you, Bill. That was good. Bill Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, who adds so much to this festival, not just musically, but with all of this stuff as well. All right, so the one I'm going to do is a little bit older than another Chopin selection to hear later. This is also in the tradition of the stride pianists. They loved, just as did the older ragtime pianists in the Midwest. Let's go to Tom Turpin's Rosebud Bar Saloon for a bit. Talk about how they would all play the Poet and the Peasant Overture. They'd play arias from operas in addition to the ragtime pieces. So that tradition carried over to the stride tradition in Harlem, where these guys would take classical pieces. If you ever heard Neville Dickie do a Nitra's dance in the Donna Lambert style, you know what I'm talking about. They loved to take the classical pieces that we all know and love and destroy them, which is what I'm going to do right now. This one is Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat, Opus 9, number 2, M-O-U-S-E. Let's remove this so nobody gets hurt. There. That is pretty darn scary. No wonder he looks so upset. so much. Well, now, one of the things that Brian Holland, our artistic director, was so nice to do for me was make sure everybody went alphabetically so I could remember who's next. It's word association. That's how you have to do these things. And I know that this fellow is the fellow who traveled the farthest to be with us. He's one of our favorite friends. We love every time we get to hear him, be with him. Some of us even get to drink with him, but shh about that. The fantastic, all the way from England, ladies and gentlemen, the world-renowned Neville Dickie.
Well, Jeff, you certainly killed that one. Okay. You heard Paul Asaro do a James P. Johnson piece. No, sorry. Who played Snowy Morning Blues? Brian Holland, that's right. And I've only had 3 pints. The brain's gone, dead. Anyway, here's another James P. Johnson piece, and it's called You've Got to Be Modernistic. And it's quite a difficult piece to play. It's nearly all on the black notes, if that means anything. 1928. It's called modernistic because of the few, for the period of the time, 1928. You'll hear a few modern chords there, that's what it was called. It was modern for the time. So here it is, 1928, James P. Johnson. Here's a number that goes back to the 1940s. I'm going to ask for some assistance from my friend on the drums if he's not still at the bar. It's Danny Coots. This is a piece called Golden Earrings, and it's a film some of you may remember. Featured Ray Milland and Marlene Dietrich. And it said if you wore the golden earrings, you'd be in love for the rest of your life. Did it work for you? It worked for Danny. I'm still trying. Anyway, here it is, Golden Earrings.
you, ladies and gentlemen, and Danny Coots. So we were all taking bets backstage, not about who might be able to play with that vim and vigor and strength and agility when we're 81. Because that's how old Neville is, 81 years old. Wow. No, that is not what we were talking about. We were taking bets. 82! 82! No wonder his hair's longer this year. He's the second child at 82. Sorry. No, we were not taking bets as to who would be able to do all that I just described, the agility and all that. We were taking bets as to who would still be alive. The list is very small. We're going to bring on a fellow who is here too infrequently. He has forgotten more about the history of the music than most of us will ever learn. And he still knows just amazing stuff. His repertoire is unending. And he's also a very entertaining person as well as a magnificent musician. Please welcome, for very rare appearances, too rare. We're so happy to have him here with us this weekend. Fantastic from the East Coast, Alex Hassan.
Once again, I'm so happy for you to see me. My mother escaped Joseph Stalin in the 1930s and 40s, so I sort of tried to do some Russian shtick periodically. All right, I'm not really your sort of typical stride program choice. I'm playing a 1920s or 30s style, which is really probably more popular piano than not, but it is a style that was called novelty piano, it was called rhythm piano, syncopated piano. It's classical training, and then you go total immersion in the popular music of the period, and you probably sound closer to stride than you do to ragtime, but I think you'll probably notice that it's not quite either. So I'd like to play for you a medley from U.B. Blake's 1930 review, Blackbirds of 1930. There's one song in here that you will all know, and if you don't, we'll have to put you in some sort of a really super fast or something program to get you back up to snuff. But the medley starts off with 1930, Blackbirds of 1930, That Lindy Hop, and this is long before the Lindy Hop of the swing era. And then the song you should all know, Memories of You, ending with a song that was not published at all. It was copyrighted, it was not published at the time, called Waking Up the Folks Downstairs. It's listed on the original sheet music of those sheets that were published. But Waking Up the Folks Downstairs, really quickly, is the gist is that if you are dancing and singing until all hours of the night, you are inevitably waking up the folks downstairs. When the plaster is coming off the walls, when the paintings are falling off the walls, you are waking up the folks downstairs. So that's the third number. Let me play for you the newfangled medley of 3 tunes from the Blackbirds of 30. 2.5 red wines will do for you. So all of you pianists out there in the audience, remember, if you're plastered, you play somewhat better. Anyway, if I have a little bit of time left, I will play one more, somewhat shorter piece. I played this at one of the outdoors venues, but playing on a grand piano, I hope, will have a better effect. There was a Warner Brothers songwriter in the 1930s named Ali Rubel. His most famous tune is The Lady in Red. How many of you remember that? I don't know, but I think we're all the same, the right time, sort of the right age group to remember these things. Anyway, he was sending in tunes for copyright deposit at the Library of Congress, just like every other songwriter in the period. Some got published, some didn't. This one didn't. This is just a little melodic line lead sheet that was sent in 1931 or so, called Dancing Debutantes. It's a song, it's got a lyric, and it's the kind of melody that I thought fit well with the kind of pan noodling that I like doing. So, it is a world premiere no matter where I play. Dancing Debutantes. Yeah. And it was quiet in the house.
So I don't know if Alex did tell you that third piece in his medley is an unpublished UB Blake. There's still stuff out there that nobody knows yet. You keep finding it. It's just so exciting. The music is not, well, let's just quote Bob Darge, why not? Ragtime dead? Hell, I didn't even know it was sick. It will thrive, it will flourish forever. That's the great thing about it. We're going to bring on a fellow who has not graced the Sedalia stages since the 1990s. Very long time. Again, way too long. There's just so much out there in so limited space. But what a delight. All the way from the Crescent City, the Big Easy, New Orleans. We have the pleasure of hearing and experiencing the music of Mr. Tom McDermott.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to start with one of the Fats Waller instrumentals. I think he recorded 4 in one day, like Viper's Drag and can't remember the others, but I think this is one. It's called Alligator Crawl. Thank you very much. I've never seen that sheet music. Cool. So I was going to play another piece, and it got usurped by somebody else who had already claimed it. So I decided to make a slightly unusual choice, because this is not maybe thought of as stride piano, but in New Orleans they have what they call a slow stride or butterfly stride. So they don't really have the tradition of the New York Harlem fast guys. They have an imply, which has a little bit of a rhythmic kick to it. A 2/4 feel, but also a 6/8 feel going on at the same time, a nice polyrhythmic thing. So I'm going to play an example of that. A piece written by Mel Lasty, but made famous, if it's famous at all, in New Orleans by the fabulous James Booker, and it's called Keep On Gwine.
A lot of variety in this stride stuff, isn't there? I mean, there was so much going on there, polyrhythmically in his left hand alone. Everybody in the back was, there's a screen back there. We get to watch with you as well. This was all of us. We're all catching flies on that one. Now, it's a delicious irony, and I'm sure you agree with me. Wow, the last time we had Tom here was in the 1990s. What a welcome addition he is this year. This next fellow, the last time Tom was here, this next fellow wasn't yet alive. That's kind of scary, but true. Hey, look at this. That's right. I'll put a plug in for that. That's going to be a great time. If you can get up even earlier, I'm doing a Tales from the Road show at 9 a.m. in that same spot, opening up for Tom. And so, you know, come find out why you shouldn't be a musician and then stay to watch his film to find out why you should. It'll be perfect. But in the meantime, let's bring on a young fellow from California that we've known from the West Coast Ragtime Festival. He showed up fully formed about 3 years ago. I'm not even sure if he's 18 or 19 or even that old yet. He's only 17 years old. So think back to some of these other teenagers we've had come through here who are now just taking the world by storm. He's certainly going to. He's equally adept at classical and ragtime and stride and everything in between. Please put your hands together for his Sedalia debut, Oliver Moore.
This is an extraordinary concert so far. So the first piece I'll play for you is also by Chopin, as Jeff played earlier. I'll play it a little bit different, and it's a piece very melancholy and lyrical, so all the more reason to stride it. And, so it's really fun to play something like this at a classical concert because most people have a great time, and then there are just the one or two people that are just in shock that you did something like this to Chopin. But hopefully he doesn't turn in his grave too much. extraordinary pianist and equally as extraordinary human, Jeff Barnhart.
Well, what are you going to do? Tell them.
It's a surprise.
Wow. I'd like to say that when I'm, well, I am 3 times his age.
Hang on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. I want to make sure I'm making the right decision.
All right, thank you. That was the rehearsal. Here's the rest of the show. Well, yeah, I mean, come on. That was scary. Oh, man. And, you know, it happens. They all grow up. I mean, he's only 17. Gosh. This next guy, we first burst onto this scene right here in Sedalia when he was only 12. That was 2 years ago. No, yeah. But he does have a sort of a baby face, and you just end up loving this cuddly bear of a man who plays so beautifully. Is such a fine young gentleman. He used to have his mom used to bring him to all these things when he was just a little sprat, playing the heck out of it. And he now has taken New York City by storm, but he hasn't lost that small Midwestern nice person-ness, which sometimes New York City can suck out of you. It hasn't happened to him. It's not going to. He's going to beat the Big Apple. He already has. And it's just wonderful to have him here playing his beautiful music for us. Please put your hands together for Dalton Ridenauer.
Thank you. I guess, am I supposed to play Babyface now? Or I'm going to start out with a Fats Weller tune. I believe he recorded this in 1929. This is called My Fate Is in Your Hands.
Thank you.
Early Dalton. There he is. I was really serious there. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if I didn't want my picture taken or if I don't know what I was going for. But anyway, you can thank my mom, Bonnie, for that photo, I believe. So unfortunately, she lives in Florida now, so she's not here this year. But my fate is in your hands. So I'm going to play James P. Johnson number now. And as most of you probably know, James P. Johnson was Fats Waller's teacher. And James P. actually recorded My Fate is in Your Hands as well, which is a really nice recording. I urge you to check out. He plays with the drums. This is a James P. Johnson piece called Keep Off the Grass. And I'm going to invite Danny Coots to join me on this, just because I need help.
Thank you. That was life on the edge. You know, back there, I don't know how it looks out where you are, but back there, all you can see on the screen when Bill isn't putting something up there is Danny's little head there, bobbing along. So we came up with the idea we ought to have, next year we should have a Stride karaoke show where you can follow the bouncing head, you know, the music. We have to, yeah, exactly. We have to write words to some of these pieces. That last one would be a little bit difficult to sing, I think. Now, it's funny because our final performer today is someone who we've all watched grow up. She belongs to the world now. She's married to a man from Italy who also is a magnificent pianist. But the funny thing is, she said, you know, sometimes it's so hard when you're doing one of these things. You're listening to all this great music, and you're back there waiting to go on and do your two short pieces. The energy level can start to go, you know, and I think anybody who's a performer out there who's watching the show today understands what that is. We love hearing everybody else, but if you're the final person in a 90-minute show, you know, so I saw her back there eating some chocolate. And she said, you know, the thing I should have done, just for this show, I should have reverted to my husband's name. If I had been Alderigi, I could have gone first. But we're doing it alphabetically, and you know what? Once this young lady plays the piano, nobody else really wants to, because it's just so amazing to hear her, to watch her, to know her, and we all love her. Stephanie Trick, ladies and gentlemen.
I still have some chocolate back there if any of you need some to finish out the day. So anyway, yeah, this has been a really great pleasure for me to be part of this concert and get to listen to all of my friends and fantastic musicians playing music that I love, which is stride piano. And so I think I'll continue in the James P. Johnson vein that Dalton so definitely played, and do two of his numbers. And the first one will be a ragtime piece that he wrote in his inimitable stride style and performed it, called the Steeplechase Rag, or it's also known as Over the Bars. And as I was sort of working on this piece, I thought it would be fun to integrate some kind of a reference to classical music, because James P. Johnson had aspired to be recognized as a classical composer, and sadly he was never recognized as such in his lifetime, but there have been many efforts since his death to showcase his works outside of jazz and stride piano. Anyway, with this stride piece, I'd like to play my arrangement of Over the Bars with a little bit of a classical reference, so I hope you enjoy it. be fair to play a stride concert without including the piece that was for stride piano. The maple leaf rag was for ragtime. And so this is the seminal stride piece by James P. called The Carolina Shout. He recorded it a number of times, and in the stride tradition, there's this thing where the stride pianists kind of play it in their own way and aren't really following anyone else in particular, but trying to come up with things that other pianists hadn't come up with, new tricks and licks, like Jeff mentioned. And so this is my version of the Carolina Shout. And thank you so much for coming this afternoon.
Again, good afternoon. We sure have as well. Thank you so much on behalf of all the performers. See you out and about at all the other concerts And thanks for supporting this event. It is truly an important part, not just of the music of our lives, but just being here together with all of you. It's a big family reunion every year. You're a big part of that. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the weekend.